It says I'm live. Nice. Yeah, no, sorry about that. Like, and I was seeing it, like, it was like some lightning and stuff, and then everything just flickered. But, well, and I'm gonna have to piece this back, but interesting. And OBS, like, reconnected all quick, and it said stop streaming as an option. So, I wonder if it'll piece this all together, or if it, I don't know, we'll find out. But, like, on here it says that I'm live. So, but anyways, I am actually probably going to get going soon-ish, but I was going to try to, but now I'm like having hesitations about the WAMP server because I feel like I already did this on my old computer. I remember the logo, and I feel like it was just a lot more trouble than it's worth. I do have PHP, or what were the other options? There was actually, or no, well, we can get rid of Blue Streak, get rid of the code pen, free code camp. That was another one I was just going to kind of add. Don't need Code Wars, this stuff. Oh well, and I appreciate that offer too, and I wanted to like at least like transfer discords and stuff too, because I mean I think I will pick that up from you. So um, yeah, shipping that's not bad at all. Let's see, it's free except for shipping, of course. But like, wonder about Apache Lounge. Is Apache Lounge safe? Apache Lounge is generally considered a safe and reputable source for downloading Apache HTTP server binaries and modules for Windows, but with an important caveat. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do is like tinker with more stuff and have more of like a home. Like ideally, what I'm envisioning is having, and that's why I'm looking into Samba, is because this is more of just like Linux stuff, and if I can get everything on Linux, and even as I'm talking about this, like instead of trying to do all this backwards, like backflipping for Windows, I could just do. Let's boot up Kali box, Kali Linux real quick, because this is because if I can get Samba working on. Oh yeah, definitely, and it's so funny that uh, sorry, I had to think for a sec who you were. Yeah, uh, uh. Viva La Dirt League all rated you. I happened to be mentioning them on my stream, and I was like, hey, let's actually watch them for a bit because I didn't have Ryan's, or is it Brian's? Now I feel all bad. But yeah, no, and yeah. So did you catch the fish when I was watching? I just watched a little bit. And that's why I like popped in and left out. And when I was in there, you were trying to catch a specific fish to progress through the game, I believe. So I'm hoping you caught it. Um, And actually, you just hopped in after I lost power on this stream. The power flickered out on my house briefly. So, lightning storm, not ghetto connection, thankfully, but it's like my old place before this. I couldn't stream, couldn't do uh like I was trying to do like a Minecraft thing. Nice, nice. Congrats, congrats. Oh, yeah, Viva La Dirt League, those guys are hilarious. I like a lot of their stuff. I was talking about yeah, Hamish. Um, Ryan, uh, actually, this thing's still loading. If I do the Twitch, no, no. It's funny now. It doesn't even sound like it's raining or anything. It's like it just had that grand finale, and then boom. Yeah, so they all four rated you at the same time. That was, I don't think I've ever seen that. That was awesome. Like, yeah, right. Could just have like some more bad
Let's do
coming.
long distance. Okay.
Oh, mute. Um, I gotta maximize it on this to see that guy. That guy. Oops, Ben. Ben. It's not Ryan. It's Ben. Oh no, it's you. So yeah, you're on the list. So yeah, GG's on the game. Let's see. Yeah, and I remember. And the other thing I noticed, like, I mean, yeah, is it's quite um, the ratio. And I say that saying Anthony writes code. This guy rated me back when I was streaming my first time. And your stream was great, by the way. Your sound was good. You had your VTuber going, or your not sorry, not VTuber, your avatar, and you were mentioning that you had kind of like some hands things. Yeah, and everything's all about yeah, and like this happened with me with Anthony Wright's code here too. I was just doing a basic and I'm still very, I'm just starting out too. I've got like 130 followers, and I did a little bit 3 years ago when I was looking for a job. I was doing a bunch of CodinGame streaming, which is like if you look at well, these are some of the things that I built on here. But if you look, there's A-Rye on there. But if you look here, they host Twitch streams. If you're, oh wow, that power outage just kicked it back up to five, I think, or maybe it was five. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention, but CodinGame hosts coding streamers here. So if you're doing like coding stuff, you just have to put CodinGame in your title, and then do. It has to be a software and game development, which most of this was. In fact, this one, the whole thing, yeah, Mr. Smuff's free technical academy. That's what I was trying to do, but um, yeah, and then Anthony writes code. He's a much bigger streamer than I, but he does a bunch of cool posts. He's like on some like Python boards and stuff. Like he does like the actual like decision making for the code bases and stuff. I feel like, but very entertaining streamer. So, and, oh, so you know of him? So Flake 8. What's that? Flake 8. Linter, okay. And honestly, I don't even know what a linter is. He talks about linters all the time when I watch him, but oh, oh, reading top down, left to right. It's pretty interesting. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Bobby. I was like, wow, this guy knows all about him. You've heard of him. Like, he's just that big. But yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Linter. I don't know what linter even means. What is a linter Python? I feel like it's a interpreter or Python linter is a static code analysis tool specifically designed for Python code. It automatically scans source code to identify potential issues, errors, stylistic inconsistencies, and deviations from best practices or established. Oh wow, so it's like a Grammarly for your code writing, which is pretty neat. I mean, like, or like an IDE almost, like the IDE. Let's see. Yeah, style guidelines. That's what this sounds like. Like, I mean, best practices. And actually, that is a pretty good thing to do because I did some partner coding with this one guy, and I mean, brilliant coder and everything. He actually hacked a web server on, or not a web server. He hacked into a login on like in real time. Our professor just had my wombat as the oh crud. My keyboard's dying again, but anyways, yeah, the professor's password was my wombat, just two English words put together, and he was trying to demonstrate a point that strong passwords were more than just single English words or double English words or even 50 English words. If it was whole words, it wasn't very secure, and it wasn't even any uppercase or lowercase. It was just my wombat, all lowercase, and he used a rainbow table and cracked it right away. But his coding style, though, we were doing some web development and we were SSHing into the campus servers, and his code was all on the left line. There was no zero indentation. He did, and it was like HTML. So you do the body tag, then you'd have everything in there, and then you'd have a space. And so you're just kind of like squinting and trying to figure out like so. Yeah, yeah. Well, and like and well, he did it intentionally too. Like he said it as a easily crackable thing, and he had a password cracker lined up to do it. So yeah, and it's like a sense of pride. Like they've done it in stubbornness and inertia. They've like spent so much time coding in a certain way to where it's like, yeah, they just like go with what they know and go with what's best. And I was that way a lot too. Like when I was first starting out in Java, like I didn't. I mean, I was just happy when it ran. Like it would just yeah, and and then I would consider it extra work to go back and clean it up. That I felt like that was like the end because then when you're in there, you're just like coding, tearing it around. Let's like comment this out, then copy this out, cut this out, paste it down here, comment this out, and like it just looks like a minefield. And then the ending would be like, oh, now I'm gonna go back and make sure all the indentations line up. And in fact, my code reflects that. My older code looks all horrendous like that, and now I try to do it to where I just do it as I go, so I don't need like a linter or something like that. But that is really cool. I mean, and that sounds a lot like Eclipse was the integrated development IDE, yeah, the integrated development environment. And some people call that cheating. Some people, especially my professor from that cybersecurity boot camp, he taught all of his people in the military that you have to use Vim. Like you have to be comfortable using VI or Vim, and anything else, even Nano, is too much hand holding because you can't always guarantee that a machine will have Nano installed on it. So you have to be able to hack any Linux box or edit a file on any Linux box, like as bare bones as possible. So yeah, that is cool. And a lot of that I imagine is kind of like a stack thing. Like I mean, if I were to have to try to mimic that, you would do like until you see like you would pop or no push pop, yeah, you push the curly bracket, then you would push the text and all that, and then yeah, well, and I think it was more like the vi just had everything has v, and then vim is like the special one that's not really guaranteed, but I don't know. And even that, I think he was mostly just joking, like kind of like, but yeah, so but even that though, I prefer to work in Vim just because I'm lazy. And Nano, like, it chastises me because I try to do the control C or the exit or whatever, and like, and then it's like, no, you use this to exit. I mean, the biggest thing is just, in fact, oh, my mouse is dead. I mean, it's not dead. I unplugged it so I could charge my keyboard. Let's go here. Okay, so, oh, gotta do it over here. Close enough. So, um, oh, I think it's still loading. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so come on. Oh, I think it's still loading. Yeah, yeah. So like, So we'd have this, and then I'd do like vim. Okay, so the biggest thing is I, that's it. Like I, then you can type, and then once you get past that frustration, so some more text. And actually, this is just a text file I had for that. And then once you're done, you escape. So like, okay, I'm done. Get out of that exit, then colon, and then quit. And if you don't have the W, it doesn't. And then all you got to do colon Q exclamation point because I didn't want to say that text. And that's like the biggest frustrating thing is just I for insert. And then once you got that, I mean, and how to exit. There's a lot of cool tools you can use. Like DD is delete a line. You can do like page up, but yeah, like stick with coding. That's good. Um, Command line, a lot of that. So like I'll do like clear ls, and like that's the biggest thing. So if I do cd, then so that goes to home. Home is usually the tilde, and Kali. You might know if you've used other versions of Linux, this might look weird how it wraps around like that. And that's just like naturally how Kali has its enter. It just does that. It takes up two lines for everything it does, and so um, but yeah, and this is for security stuff. Kali Linux is basically the type of Linux distribution that is used for pen testing. It has a bunch of um, it's yeah, it's pretty but the thing is like it does have all these tools that you can use to hack into people like Hydra for hacking into URL login stuff. But for every tool that this has, like most software companies and online platforms, they detect the tools. So like if you try to use the tools just fresh out of the box, and even if you tweak the tools, there's still such a signature and a behavior that it's known. So mm. Yeah, there's also the flipper too that messes with signals, and that's if you get caught, like I mean you can have it legally, but like as soon as anybody knows that you have one, like you're on some watch lists and the cops will know. But and actually, like I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this, but I'm on several watch lists for cybersecurity. Thankfully, nothing else. And when I said that earlier, it felt weird because being on a watch list. No, I mean, but as far as like cybersecurity training, um, do have a checkered background, but thankfully none of that nonsense. But anyways, and then like so if you get a flipper, they would like put you on a list, just like if you've ever seen the movie Seven with Brad Pitt, and that was like back in like the '90s. That's how they actually caught people, and that was just what they were like felt comfortable sharing with on like Hollywood was because they tracked him down with his library card, how he checked things out and stuff. But and now you have like the internet, it runs through some node that can be decrypted by our government for sure. Chinese government, I'm sure too, because of their supercomputers. Uh, yeah. Oops. Yeah, and like, and I haven't ever used one, and but that's also why I don't use password managers because I feel like any of these things, it's like if it's electric, if it's in there, and if it's controlled by a signal, and if the power goes out and it, if it's relying on power, then it's not really, uh, yeah. And I think that's part of it to get like an untraceable flipper. Um, well, yeah, and I think you said also like with like telephone companies and stuff and internet companies, it's um, like the more that people are aware of this stuff, like everybody's kind of getting in on it now, which is good. I mean, and I think a lot of people are now realizing that their online behavior is really trackable too, which is great. And I mentioned that like being on a watch list for other things, that's one of the things that my professor, like that's what the military intelligence searches for, is like child predators and murderers. Those are like the top three, which is funny enough. Anybody who's been to jail or halfway houses, etc., they already know that even anybody on the other side of the law um, are all about hunting those people too. So uh, yeah, and that's been a big thing. Excuse me. yeah, exactly, of how lazy companies are or how much they don't want to pay to invest in security and all that.
Mm.
And like, and they will. That's almost like Fight Club, where that guy worked for the company and they had to weigh like the cost of the recall versus that. So, oh, and then as far as this, let's see, LL for that's a shorthand for ls-l. That's a super handy one. So list is just what's in the directory. Clear R, and then LL. You can see the date, time. I keep grabbing the mouse, but you can see the date, time, the user, and normally if I was like really doing this a lot, like if I was using this for a lot of things, I'd create a different user than just using it as Kali. But it's just one VM that I can blow away at whenever, just nuke. But I do have, let's see, you can chain commands and let's see. So I was starting Samba, I couldn't get it to work. Oh yeah, yeah, that for sure. Like piping grep into something or like, or yeah, the output, and actually running the history file. So yeah, awk grep and all that. Yeah, definitely. You can do so much with list. That's I have another textbook that I really want to find that one. It's almost has like a comic. Um, actually, let's see. We have the internets. Linux system admin textbook comic. Just spit out some word salad. Get some images. There it is for 11.50. But anyways, at Thrift Books, that's awesome. But yeah, this is one that I want to get into and just do follow along. This is what I used back at CSU. Wow, that is insane. Because I think I did spend like 60, 70 bucks on this back in my school days. But I mean, it's just such a cool thing. Yeah, Perl scripting, Bash. I wrote, I did a Bash script for, let's see, there were a few of them. There was the Watcher, which would look at this file size of every file in your Linux machine. So if someone like was able to log in, edit a file, put some malware in it, and then like log out, it would detect that there was a change and who changed it, and it would send an email digest of all deltas, all the changes of your system 20 every 24 hours on the cron tab. So yeah, yeah, yeah. There's this, and then even just so that's thrift books, and then yeah, Walmart 110, but it's the Linux and Unix and Linux System Administrator handbook. So I'm thinking like, as much as it's a love-hate thing. I love Amazon, but I hate it. I have friends that, yeah, of course, Unix and Linux System Administrator. So this might be a little more shop around. Oh no, let's see. Oh, even 53 for a Kindle. Yeah, no, so far that one's like definitely the best. Like 1150. Oh, and yeah. But that one's just so cool and it does everything. Grep, awk, um all that cool stuff. And then what I did in school, I did the Watcher, Boo. Boo was a backup utility that was a script that would run, and it basically all it did was testing if we were able to figure out where a user's home directory was. Just literally do a CP command to copy their home directory to a backup directory, and that was it. And you would just run it, and then it would rename it with the date, and depending on how you set it up, it would allow you to have a couple of flags or options. And yeah, and this was bash scripting, like, and it would do, uh, again, why, yeah. a CS degree is almost required for IT jobs, and that's what I'm kind of like going through right now. Is like, because my coworker does not have an IT degree, but anyways, and so doing these things, that was the one that was set on cron tab as well, and it would back up a user like once every 30 days or do it every 60 days, whatever you set it to, and it would back it up to a different mounted drive even. So even if it like that user got totally waxed out and everything, it was safe on a whole nother like drive. And I want to say we even set it up to where it would send it to another network connected computer. So either way, but that is where you'd want to go with it. So and yeah, and even with like my home stuff, I mean, I just assume that any of this can go at any time. I have all my personal files, pictures, movies, everything's in the cloud. I've actually just been uploading a ton of stuff to YouTube. So I have gaming videos all the time, and then as soon as my kids are old enough to have their own channel, or my co-parent and I gotta agree on that, then I'm gonna have my kids and I have all their videos of like them gaming. I'm gonna have them upload that, and like yeah, but it's not all age appropriate stuff. But then again, I was playing Castle Wolfenstein 3D. Let's say third, fourth grade. I was like stabbing and shooting Nazis. So and Duke Nukem, going to strip clubs and all that. So that was funny. But I mean, and actually Meta Quest. I didn't know that you're supposed to be 13 to play the Meta Quest. So yeah, that's funny. I did not know that. And we got that one years ago. So yeah, this book is amazing. This is actually what we use. Although, wait, what's the difference with that? Fifth edition, fourth edition. So it looks like there's only one left in this one. But yeah, this is my favorite book, and this is what we use at CSU. And then, capture the flag stuff is really good. I don't have any specific ones, but let's see. Capture the flag, cybersecurity. So this will teach you. Um, oh, uh, Yeah, it was the Wild West, and I used to play StarCraft and do like chat rooms and all of that. And like, I wasn't old enough to really understand how to like hack and manipulate stuff. So maybe I like lucked out at just the right time. I wasn't messing around with things, but I was talking with people and stuff. Um, yeah, God of War was pretty violent too, and then yeah, and I guess I'm really aging myself there. Castle Wolfenstein was like the leading like violent, gory, so like cartoony. I mean, my kids played Fortnite well, like I mean, for a long time, and then they're pretty much teenagers now, so it doesn't matter. But like for the longest time, that's how like they were doing things. So yeah, do that, and also like libraries too. Like I mean, a lot of this stuff, especially like those textbooks. I mean, well, yeah. Yeah, and so, and funny story, I have uh, a contact from China, um, a new colleague actually. Uh, oh, and thanks for the follow, Pie Lover, too. Appreciate it. I'm still editing and fixing up my stream. I don't get the notifications and stuff on there. It's still starting out, but yeah. And the internet. So this guy, uh, and he actually watches a lot of my streams and stuff too. But he's coming over from China, and one of my projects. Let me go ahead and open up this. So if we go back to my website, then if we go to communal, so this is a bit hippy dippy. Uh, Basically, what I'm trying to do is make a bunch of hippie farms. And I'm from Colorado, where we have legal cannabis, legal natural psychedelics, and I come from a prison community. Buena Vista, Colorado is like the Department of Corrections medium security facility. And that's like all the town does. All of our family members, like friends, family, they were either cops or worked in the prison system. And one of my really close friends' dads actually. Well, one he taught English composition 150, so all of us high schooler kids took his class so we could do it cheaper at Colorado Mountain College before going off to a 4 year university. But he also doubled as a he was a prison to community reintegration specialist, and what he did was he tried to do what the inmates had to do coming from prison, and he lived on the he had a hotel voucher. He gave himself the same clothes, like the general generic like the collar shirt and the khaki pants that most employers anywhere close to a prison are very well aware that oh they just got out of prison and they'll within walking distance of a prison everybody knows what the dress up is. And so and he did it. He acted just like he was an inmate getting out, and he couldn't do it. Like he didn't survive. He caved. He called his family members after like I want to say like after like 2 or 3 weeks. Like he just couldn't. He tried to get a job. He said he had a criminal record, and I think he actually said that his crime was. I think he did it a couple of times at a couple of different facilities. But yeah, so yeah, and that's why I want to like that really hit home and just like understanding like how like if you're homeless it's almost like preferable to go and like stab somebody and end up in prison because then you have three hots and a cot, and then it's like but then that's like preferable to some people's living situations. So yeah, hydroponics, aquaponics. I've been friends with hippies for a long time. I've seen cannabis grows like ridiculously like awesome ones. Like I've seen aeroponics is a really interesting mix of hydroponics and like misters. So it's a deep water culture. You get these big buckets, and this one we were using hydroton. I didn't have any hand in it. I was just an amateur, like watching. But like they'd have hydroton for like you'd have the plants in them, and then the root system in there, and then you'd have a deep water culture where you'd have like a big bucket, and then you'd have bubblers that would bubble up the water, which would tease the roots. They would feel and sense that there was water down low, and then so they would like grow really fast, really long. And so you have these like massive roots for a plant, and then you have misters on the side that bombard it with Dutch Masters nutrients. So, all right, yeah. Have a good night, Pie Lover. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the follow, and I'll come by and stop you or check you out your channel sometime. Um, because I was part of that massive raid from Viva La Dirt League, just showing it for my stream. So, anyways, yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you around the old Twitch. So, but yeah, and then so the deep water culture, like once you get it to that point, you're just feeding tons of nutrients and it just makes the plants grow like crazy. So, but and it's not just for cannabis and stuff. This is all for like food, specifically actually right now to intercept all the deportees. Yeah, yeah, and GG's on the game too. Glad you got it. That sounds familiar. I'm just getting into Reddit too. Hmm, let's see. R space buckets. No, no, doing the thing. Yeah, yeah, and like yeah, it's wild and like everything. Um, well, I kind of took a little bit of vacation from society for a few years, but yeah. Oh, yep, and there's oh, indoor gardeners. Nice. Oh, definitely nice to meet you. Yeah. So I'm yeah, I've been friends with hippies for decades, and yeah. Oh, I'm fan professional. I started changing that, so I got the yeah, you can see that. And actually, I need to get rid of this. I was doing WAMP on this other monitor. My other monitor is over here for this particular setup. But yeah, that's me, brother. Like, and I did this before. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. I don't. I mean, same thing with that kind of thing. Like I heard one thing was racist, this and that, but I just thought he was always funny, and I used to make fun of his kind of like Nicolas Cage. I'd get pictures of him. I follow a couple on socials. Like, uh, they'll slap his face on everything, and that's a Yoda Hulk. So, but yeah, as you can see, I'm a random here, and I need to edit that actually. Yeah, fan professional. Uh, I mean, you got some nice knockers on your coding gameplays, so that was funny. Uh, I mean, yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh come on, come on. So it still is A-Rye 719, but this is the founding fathers smoking bud, and let's see. Settings, user accounts, other restored licenses. 3 years ago. Oh, did I upvote that? Is that? See, yeah, I am definitely like. Oh, whoops. Okay, cool. Yeah, I late to the game for sure. uh, yeah, they did actually. George Washington. Yeah, grew hemp. I looked this up because that's like all I do all day is I debate on XApp with random strangers, and yeah, he grew hemp, and it's crazy. And then another thing, and I'm not super religious, but I have a lot of religious friends from all over different like groups and stuff. Grew up Christian and grew up American, of course, and like so I didn't realize that religion. Well, I knew religion separation church and state, but God added to Pledge of Allegiance. This is some other American history that I didn't know until like 2 weeks ago. It was added by Eisenhower. So, and yeah, I still think a lot of like religious stuff is fine. I mean, like Christianity, I'm more Pastafarian now. And actually, yeah, it was like in the 50s. And they added under God under the Pledge of Allegiance, and he also put under God on the money. So this was influencing religion right after World War II. So it's like you got World War II where they abused Christianity to like, hijack a country and almost take over the world. And now like right after it's like, oh hey, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it could work over here. And so that's the God arc. But then if you look at Nixon, yeah, it was political lawfare that Nixon banned weed in the first place. And this is one of the biggest things. So the Vera Institute one got taken down, but there's a CNN one. So 50 years ago today, like Vera Institute used to have one website that I used for my debates, but like this, I just randomly share this out with cannabis prohibitionists on XApp. In fact, go ahead and follow me on there. Like I say some pretty outrageous stuff. Um, and it is a dumpster fire of politics sometimes, but I try not to ever really go one way or the other because again, like some of my closest friends are huge MAGA supporters, and I love them and respect them. I'm not a big Trump fan, but also at the same time, I wasn't a big Biden fan either. And it's like, oh, it's taken a while to load, but we'll go back to this one for now. But I do like AI generated stuff, and I am getting more connected with a lot of like the anti-prohibitionists on there, which are a lot of like, and even like Mike Tyson is like huge, like with Trump and everything, but like legalizing, rescheduling. So, oh yeah, but then so with this though, Nixon started the official political lawfare, and when you say it that way, anybody who's a MAGA supporter or Republican, they'll pause. They're like, wait a minute, political lawfare. What are you talking about? And then I share this link and I say, hey, of course they hate that it's CNN, and and I get it. Like in terms of policy, I'm not going to continue as that. Oh, and it might try to put me behind a paywall thing, but yeah, basically Nixon targeted, and this is one of his advisors that said, we knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and black people with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. And then Ehrlichman said, we could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. And so that's like the biggest thing. And that's part of actually what I do with cybersecurity right now. This is positive social engineering, basically being stubborn and arguing with people. And I have on my phone, which is awesome. Like when I said I had Android, I got Google and everything. So all of my links and everything, I fried my phone. You might get a kick out of this, doing electrical work and stuff, or being an electrician and understanding that. I plugged in my computer charger to my phone because it has a USB-C, and I was like, "This should work, right?" and, like, and it was charging really, really fast. But yeah, I fried it, and so, and but that's the thing. I mean, people call me a bull in a china shop. I will do some of the dumbest things, and that's how I learn. And I learned so much, and now I know. Like my zap on my finger, my phone, and now I don't use it to charge my phone. But either way, I have all my links tied to my Google. So yeah, and I am glad that they universalized the power plugs on a lot of things, but I wonder how much that's actually happening. And since I do work in IT, I do see quite a bit of interesting stuff, although it's getting a lot better. So, but yeah, this the whole point with this is so it's originally political lawfare, and then if you go to so first off, banning weed is how we have war hawks and yeah. Well, yeah, that too, and the cable and the device itself to either just like shut down if it's too high of a voltage. So then it's kind of like, yeah, independent, but both failed. Um, and then American Made. This I just saw recently. It's from 2017. This is a documentary on how Reagan's CIA imported cocaine by the ton. And he didn't know about it. I mean, that's the whole plot of the movie. But Reagan had his CIA spying on. Yeah, have you seen this? Like, it's kind of like I've heard this all throughout. I mean, because I used to work with the black markets a bit. That's part of my checkered past, and I'd hear people saying like Loriega. I'm like, who the heck's Loriega? They're like, oh yeah, and like, but this movie, and I don't. I mean, it's not. It is a documentary, and it is basically like the view of the plot. Let's see. It is a comedy. It is good. Go check it out. I don't want to ruin anything, but like basically, if you just read the yeah. So, and I thought it was a legend. But then, like, no, the DEA and the CEI, or well, the DEA did finally get him and all that, but like the CIA was didn't care, turned a blind eye to it. They were more focused on yeah the Iran Contra and like the Iran or in communism spreading and all that and like so yeah and then he doubled down so even just those 2 points of contention you've got Nixon using political lawfare to target two American communities, two very powerful influential American communities that if they had not been harassed and oppressed and basically waged war on like that, um, we wouldn't have all these war hawks sending people to war. So, and I come from a military family, and like how I feel about that. It's like my dad had wicked PTSD and ended up and so my grandpa he was dead long before I was. So like all of these hardships on the military, all for a lie. Like yeah. So I mean, so it's hard to say with that. But then you get Nixon or no Reagan saying doubling down, saying that just say no. But that's also why I'm not a big fan of Biden either, because once Hunter came out having smoked like literally crack, which is actually a good argument. In fact, let's do this thing. So YouTube, let's see. Yeah, I think I might just have way too much stuff going on. And he did inhale, yeah. And he inhaled. He had a couple ladies of the evening, like, but that's actually one of the arguments for let's see. Yeah. Well, it doesn't help. I got my Linux box running too, so let me actually go ahead and shut that down because I don't really need this. Yeah, definitely. And I lived with Saudis in college, and so I got like an exterior perspective. In fact, this is Dubai. This picture is from Dubai. I went out there, but let's see. Yep, and that's one of the videos I watch. And Redman. I'm a big Redman Wu-Tang fan. But this 1994 crime bill, and basically,
If you have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1, we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes,
yeah,
the government can, take everything you own, everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you've just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they've become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
yeah, and it's like, and I guess that's a different one than I was sharing around a lot. But like, there was another one where it had but that's the whole point. And like, they had, yeah, you can see all my YouTube videos. I love the reggaeton for coding, Redman, Method Man, all that stuff, and that prof. But anyways, uh it showed a picture of how big the crack rocks were on his scale, clearly bigger than a quarter. And so, as he says, 5 years in jail. And so you just got to imagine how many people, and I've heard people try to justify that. They said that the crack epidemic was so out of control at that time. So, yeah, exactly. And yeah, and it takes an average about 10 years to, and even my own checkered past. I got in trouble because I beat up a predator and I had some drugs I beat up a guy that was drugging and raping college women actually. And so, which is funny because we both got kicked out of CSU. I had to interview with the police detectives. I had to interview with the conflict resolution guy, and I had to like interview basically with CSU to prove to them that I wasn't a physical danger to another CSU student. And I told them, I was like, I wasn't even a danger to a CSU student before, except he was raping people, drugging people, and he punched me. And it was self defense and all that. But like, and it was just mushrooms too. So it was like I had mushrooms. I beat up, and I escalated it. Whew, yeah, and so exactly, and he did, and actually, so here's the kicker. Let's see how many, and then all of these are being recorded. And I'm moving them to my YouTube, so I'm like making these persistent. So I got to pretend like everything I say is going to be seen by both the victim in my case but I don't think he's wise enough to be watching my stuff, or has he sat through the like what 20 hours of? 'Cause if we go back to, I keep using my mouse, but that's fine. So if we go back to A-Rye, uh, which it's kind of funny, there's like a male underwear commercial that pops up when I search this. Oh wait, no, okay, this time it didn't, and I swear I'm not looking for underwear, but it's like one of those like Freudian slips. But anyways, no, and it is kind of refreshing because usually I see a bunch of like naked chicks, and it's all like, ah, there you go, like equality. But I'm recording all of these and like porting them over, and so this is all my YouTube stuff, and then yeah, yeah, and I had a Spanish ad in just this stream, but that makes sense because I listen to a lot of reggaeton. I mean, and honestly, I could have searched for male underwear, but even like the style, it wasn't the right style, and that's usually something I just go pick up at the, and I don't even. I'll go holes all day, but like, yeah. So, but anyway, so I have all the Twitch things here, and I just assume that at any time he might read it, but yeah, yeah, and it was like a very suggested thing, but no. So I'm actually working with the local police because basically what happened is he and having a checkered background and working with a bunch of grow ops like that is like a huge no no, and that's like, oh, but having done some time in a halfway house, like I've lived with a bunch of people that um I learned that they are not happy with predators, so that's kind of a pass. Predators and thieves. Thieves are also very looked down upon, but mostly it's just anything with respect. Disrespect, or if you're not showing enough respect, that was like the whole thing. All prison gangs, every shot caller, every old OG wise one, like that's all they care about. And this guy, so he did the switcheroo. I talked to him after I got done, and he was on the phone. And I was honestly, I was setting him up to get jumped. I had a couple of Norteño buddies that I was like, yeah, but I didn't do it. I didn't premeditate. So anyone watching the recording and all that, um, but I asked him, I was like, so whatever happened with all that? And he was like, oh well, a couple of girls caught me on a phone call admitting that I knew that they were drugged. And I was like, okay, so what happened with that? And he was like, oh, I got 5 years probation, zero jail time. I was like, oh, okay. And that's why I was even like planning even more stuff. Like I was like, okay, why don't you come back? Let's hang out sometime and all this. And I told a couple of my gangbanger friends, I was like, so this is what's going on. And they were like, all right, let's get in bed. And like, so we had this whole thing set up. And then I was like, oh, you know what? We can't be doing it. Like, and then I was gonna approach the police, but then I chickened out then, and I was like, and it didn't end up mattering anyway. And so like, but now like almost 20 years later, that was '09. I got an assault case with him, and like I went to jail. He was in a police blanket crying. It was awesome, and he was tearing up. Because right as I was about to go to jail, I said, "I banged your girlfriend." And like, I didn't really. Sorry, and sorry if there's anyone. It's PG-13, I think. This place. Plus, I said we're talking about drugs in the stream, but so anyways, yeah. So he did that. I think he even went and served in the army too. So I mean, that's the other thing is like he got like out of all that, and yeah, yeah, that's messed up. And so now I am talking with the police. I told them everything I know about him doing the switcheroo, and actually I told a girl, a lady. I'm trying to be a little better about how I even talk about like equality in women and stuff, but um, that's why I did it too. I yelled at him. I was like, yeah, he got nothing. He got zero jail time, zero nothing. I was bleeding from the nose, the mouth. He put me in a headlock, and then I fell and like, but I was like slamming. And this guy was like 6'7", 250 pounds. And I was only like maybe around 200 pounds, 5'11". Like he was much bigger, and that's why he got away with a lot of stuff. And he had brass knuckles. Yeah, no, it's all good. And like, well, and that was the thing is like, so when I went in, I was in the halfway for 4 years, and like everybody there, I was a legend because I beat up a rapist, and it was just like, and they all knew, and they told all their friends, and so the dude wasn't even allowed in Fort Collins or Northern Colorado. Like, I mean, like everybody just knew he was a predator. So, except not enough, like nobody told the police. Like that's how tight everyone's lips were, which is kind of good, but at the same time for that. Mm. Yeah, he had a set of brass knuckles. He was threatening the neighbor apartments. He was my roommate. I was the resident manager for our apartment complex, and like, and I couldn't go to the cops, and I confiscated his brass knuckles because I had people telling me from the next apartment complex over, like, "Hey, your roommate's pulling some nonsense. You need to keep him in check." It's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Like, I'll talk to him and all this," and like, because apparently he was threatening people for alcohol, and like, whew. So yeah, and then uh so anyway, so when I bonded out of jail the first time, I had some people ask what happened, and they saw the fight and everything. And they're like, "Well, why did you go to jail and all this?" And so I finally told them, I was like, technically he started it, but I escalated it, and then I had things in the house, and so it was all that. But because I had the mushrooms, they completely ignored all his nonsense. And I even told the cops as they were taking me to jail, it's like that's why we were fighting this dude. I called him out for the switcheroo, and the switcheroo is where he drugs women A, his accomplice drugs women B, and then they switch and attack women A and women B, and that's how they get away with it, and that's how they did get away with it until now. And there's no statute of limitations on sexual assault. So I mean, even though I did my time, I did my stuff for drugs and all that, and like, you know, and they even said they're like, we don't think this is your first time, so consider this like a big punishment for all the times you did. So I was like, okay, cool. So all retroactively, I'm good, I'm done, and that's how I saw that. But yeah, this dude, oh, and what was funny is and I don't drink anymore too, which thank goodness, because like if I got really drunk one night, I probably would have done this if I after using XApp more. But on Redman's post, Redman did a PSA. Let's actually do this. So this is me on. Well, that's actually my. Hold on. It's my buddy that I'm trying to help emigrate to Mexico. And that right there, you got Kevin Sabe. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna get some water, but um, yeah, this is the XApp stuff. And these prohibitionists keep trying to spread fear about weed being dangerous, overdose deaths. Well, they don't say it specifically, overdose deaths. But Kevin Sabe is part of SAM, Smart Approaches to Marijuana, and he, like, right this, cannabis poisoning. He tries to scare people about kids. I'm going to plug my mouse back in. But this is what I do all day, is I argue with this. So if you do get that, definitely, like, link with me on there. I'm just Alex Ryan underscore STEM, because originally I wanted this to be just like Anthony writes code. I wanted to emulate like what he does and all this, and I still do to a point. But at the same time, with like Kevin Sabe, yeah, this guy, he's a huge advocate against it. He advised the Clintons, the Bush Juniors, the Obama, like he advised the Pope. This guy is trash. Like, and I try to be respectful because Sam already blocked me. Smart Approaches to Marijuana. I follow him, so whenever he posts some nonsense,
about marijuana because they remember or they think about the Reefer Madness days. That isn't what legalization is about, actually, because it's not about the Dead concerts anymore. It's not about Rolling Stones or Roach Clips. It's about mass production. It's about an industry, marijuana, that now resembles the tobacco industry, that resembles big pharma, that resembles the alcohol industry. Industries driven by Wall Street, Silicon Valley, Madison Avenue, and the whole apparatus of commercialization of not marijuana, THC infused any kind of product you want. So legalization.
So, anyways, yeah, he's total garbage. But I follow these people so I can use Grok to fact check them in real time anytime they say something. I also follow Parents Opposed to Pot. Yeah. Yeah, and then I did this. I'm still doing the Twitch announcement, or I'm still figuring out how to do that. But no, like, and some Democrat stuff. But Grok, like, I'll do stuff like that. Like, hey, Grok, have crime rates gone down in areas that have legalized cannabis? And then Grok will come back, and this is amazing. Like, show mixed results and that, and then, like, let's see, and then, and I just continue to talk with Grok. Let's see, Grok commented here. It's kind of hard to, like, it's tricky to get into all this and like figure out how the threads work and everything. But once you get into it, it's like, and I do this on my phone, and like, traveling all around the world, I argued with one guy about how it's against Christian law to murder somebody. So then technically the military and all this, even though I come from a military family and I very much support my military family and all that, but like, uh, yeah. And then Christian, oh, that's another thing. So, you, uh, and you gotta be careful. Thankfully I don't have like, but this cannabis was burned during ancient worship for the Israelites. So they knew about it. And if they knew about it and no holy book bans it by name, just that bit of logic for me means that cannabis was never really banned by Jesus, by Moses, by Muhammad, by who are the other ones? There's the Hinduism. There's like the Krishnas. Like no, well, actually, even just this, we could just ask Google Gemini and be like, does any holy book ban weed? So it'll say no, but they ban inebriation, intoxication, holy books and weed, a complex and nuanced relationship. It doesn't mention cannabis, but there's cannabosum. And actually, let's just look at that real quick. Cannabosum. Oh, it's with a K, I guess. So what is cannabosum? It translates to sweet leaf. I actually have this bookmarked on my phone. So it's a holy anointing oil that was to be used by the priest to anoint the tabernacle. And then they say potential connection to cannabis. There is no question that the Hebrew phrase cannabosum is similar to the term cannabis, but is this a coincidence or the origins of the name cannabis? Now, I think that was actually debunked. The cannabis was actually, well, it's hashish in Arabic, and I think that is when they're actually like talking about like the actual hash and everything. But an aromatic, resinous reed descriptive of cannabis. It's possible that cannabis has a Semitic origin similar to cinnamon. Cannabis was known and used in the Near East during the time of the Hebrew people. So these are the facts concerning the Hebrews, cannabosum, and as you can tell, there is no way to definitively say that it was or was not cannabis. However, oh no, sorry, it's Alex Ryan underscore stem. Let's see. And there's no dots in this one. Although funny, in Google it doesn't mean dots, but here, let's go. There we go. Oh yeah, because I don't have the URL up here, but yeah, and there it is there at Alex Ryan underscore stem. And that's all I do. And I did ride the blue wave with the Democrats, and I did do I tried to like at least debate in that direction, but and even as I say there, like I have friends over all politics, nationality, religion, and that is like it's just yeah. I still have it listed as Fort Collins, even though I'm not technically up there anymore. Um, but yeah, and there's my graffiti stuff and all that good stuff. But all I do is I argue with. Oh, there's Mike Tyson. There's some political stuff. Definitely, yeah, but that. Yeah, organized religion. Like the religion itself is a great idea, and organized religion is just perverted. Oh, actually, so Mary Magdalene. This is a really good one to kind of just have in your back pocket. Mary Magdalene Revealed is written by, I believe, a lesbian and Megan Watterson, and she talks about how she was felt so close to the church, but then so rejected. And then I've also been following a lot of people that they really dig into homosexuality and Christianity anyway. But this particular book, this is another one to kind of have on your list. Let me go ahead and drop that out here. And I have this on my website stuff. I try to like list a lot of stuff, but you can never overshare with this stuff. I mean, so this it talks about the lost gospel of Mary Magdalene that was ordered destroyed. In fact, where's the? I guess it's kind of this whole thing. Here it is. So in the 4th century, Mary's teachings were ordered to be destroyed by powerful men in the early church who wanted to control believers' access to God and salvation. So then in 591, Mary Magdalene's reputation was further ruined when Pope Gregory conflated her identity as Mary of Bethany and the sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet. It's basically a prostitute, cementing the idea that she was a repentant prostitute. Even the disciple Peter, as recorded in the Gospel of Mary, felt threatened by Mary Magdalene's relationship with Christ. He doubted that Christ would have taught her anything. And Peter, I think, was gay, honestly. I think he was like, and I think that's even talked about in this book, that he was jealous of a romantic type, that he was jealous of Mary because Mary was like Jesus's fiance, his girlfriend, and all this. So, and then when you start getting into this, like, so they had rebel monks save some of it, and basically the teachings are that of such that you already have everything you need from God within you. Go out and love everyone. Basically hippie-ish, which is totally what Jesus was about. Um, and yeah, and women being leaders in the church. This is the one of the biggest things that I had a problem with, because I grew up in the Methodist church up in Salida, and we had a woman pastor, and and I thought she was a lesbian, honestly. Like, so I had a lesbian music teacher growing up in grade school who was fantastic. She was happy all the time, and like she was just, and she was her. And I'm from up in Buena Vista, Colorado, where we were like really redneck, but at the same time really tolerant. Like nobody cared that she was a lesbian, and I think that's the way everybody is. Like people are just made it to be like, oh well, we don't want the gays getting married. Well, like who even said that? But oh, we'll find a hill to die on or something. But and this was like so yeah, I had the lesbian music teacher growing up who was awesome, and I learned a lot from. And so that gave me a positive image of a woman that knew a lot and could love another woman. And so that was great. And then my preacher being a woman showed that a woman could be a leader before I even knew about any of this stuff. And she was good. She gave just as good, if not better, a sermon than any of the male preachers that we had. And we had one of each. I had a male preacher, then I had her for the majority of it. And then I think I left when I was given the choice, I stopped going to church because I wanted to reclaim my weekends. It's not that I had anything against it. I was just like it's boring. I don't want to sit there, and we had to go to the next town over, so we had to drive a half hour there, a half hour back. So like my Sunday was shot by the time I get done, and I was like, great, that's half my weekend. So, but as far as this though, this was huge because yeah, and I've heard Timothy too, and supposedly Timothy isn't supposed to be part of like it's not the canonical books or whatever. Like, what is Timothy 1? Timothy 1 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, in Old Testament. So I grew up in the Methodist church, and they basically told us and this was like in Sunday school. The way that they taught us was like, don't pay attention to the Old Testament. The New Testament is what you need to focus on. And so they basically just said anything in the Old Testament is just kind of weird and don't worry about it. And then they also told us that, like, let's see, I'm curious now, is the Adam and Eve story in the is it real? In the Old Testament? Yes. So Old Testament, and that the specifically the Adam and Eve story. Oh yeah, yeah, that too. Like, I mean, to just kind of be like, wait, why are you talking and all this? If this is your religion and all that, yeah, and then have them do that. Um, and then let's see. But yeah, this story, like the Adam and Eve. Um, I remember my Sunday school teacher, who was also a woman. She was just like, we don't pay attention to that. And I think that might have been around the same time where she probably explained it this way, but and that was it. We had women leaders, and in this book, like it doesn't make me want to go back and start going back to church by any means. I mean, it makes me hate it a lot less knowing that this was part of it. And it's undisputable. It's like there's let's see. So they found multiple copies. Let's see. Thankfully, some copies of the gospel were illegally hidden by a group of ancient Egyptian Christians called the Copts. Many fragments are still missing, but the existing fragments, as well as references to them in other ancient manuscripts, have been turning up since 1896 and well into the 20th century. So even though this part was ordered destroyed, it basically went against the Roman class structure and everything that the Catholic Church built. And so, like, and that's why they wanted to destroy it, is because they wanted to gatekeep heaven with money, and you had to pay the right way to get into heaven. So, yeah, basically. And that's like, well, actually, a lot of places are kind of changing now, thankfully, and I think this is becoming more mainstream and popular. I did talk to somebody that was talking about an LGBTQ church, and that's what I like to use Grok for in XApp. So that is one of the few things that I do pay for, is an XApp like basic membership, and so that gives me access to Grok, and so I'll use Grok on there and just be um, sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'll get to that in a bit. But Yeah, and I'll ask Grok about this, and Grok being, an AI with all of this knowledge and everything, and people will try to argue with it. And actually, I saw this one guy. Um, oh, actually, hold on, this might get a little. Maybe I don't want to be this on. Well, oh, well, either way, I can't find him, but let's put this in here because so this is the United Empowerment Party, and like if you're into bud growing and all that, which yeah, you just said you're space buckets, so that's awesome. Um, this is Redman's sister's party, political party, so you can follow her on here. And I've talked in a space with Redman. Um, he was present and he was talking. I didn't actually talk when he was there, but this is his sister, and she like does all this stuff, and like they do the Free the Green gaming tournament, and like just follow their stuff. And I was supposed to actually meet her down in the Denver area for a Bud convention, but I didn't go, and I didn't really look into it. And so I'll have to like explain that later. But we've talked briefly, like, and and I'm sure she's already plugged into a lot of like the big cannabis people in Colorado, but yeah, this is just one thing. Like I've actually been reposted by Redman because I posted some of his stuff just for his new album coming out, and like so that's part of. I mean, it makes sense. Like he's doing some advertising and reposting stuff that's advertising and promoting him, but just the starstruck of like Redman, hip hop legend, reposting my stuff. Oh, yeah. You might try to work with them and talk about that and like if you can explain the situation. It's still pretty hacky. Like, I mean, a lot of it still has Twitter around. I mean, I think Twitter still redirects, which actually that's probably by design that they have like Twitter still work. But as you saw, um, my code pen still has that. So, but yeah, if you get on there, you should add me on there. Add UEP. Um, Whenever they do spaces, they do a lot of crypto stuff, and that's kind of like even looking here. Yeah, I do the Eminem thing. I think that might be a porn bot. Or sorry, that's not fair to say, but like whenever somebody responds really quick just to because I tag Twitch and Academy, and this is kind of a thing I do with cybersecurity too, is I pay attention to that. And actually, I talked about a little bit of that on the cybersecurity one because the things that I've seen in the wild, I post on there. I'm going to be doing, and one of it was an OnlyFans model that. So I have a free subscription to OnlyFans. I'm not about to pay for that, and I like want to investigate it because I actually used to provide security for a private stripper, two of them actually, but and I'd be their drivers and their security. Not that I ever needed to do anything, but I was there. I supported them and their power, and then their ability to make money. And I take the Dolomite stance. I support legalizing prostitution and legalizing cannabis, like from the old Dolomite, or Snoop Dogg, Top Dog, No Limit, and yeah, and so yeah, it was great, and I had plenty of perks. But it was almost kind of annoying though because it was basically like having two girlfriends that you couldn't do stuff with. So you still had to be like on your best behavior and complimenting them and all that. And I was sleeping with one of them, but like, and I was supposed to sleep with both of them in the very beginning, but then I screwed that up because I said something stupid, and so then I upset the one, ended up hooking up with the other a lot, and then like but she was mad that I didn't do both of them, and I thought it was a test of which one. I don't know. And they played some mind games, and like, mm, I mean, we're still friends, and she's actually a drug addiction counselor down in Mexico, working with ibogaine and working with like cartel people. So it's pretty cool. But like, I mean, not cartel people as in like, oh, I have connections in the cartel. It's like more like the people that can't hang and they get addicted to the stuff, and so then they go over to her and whatnot. But And works in an official clinic and everything. Yeah, yeah, and I security for strippers. I did have a gun and everything. So like, oh, not now. I mean, I'm not supposed to have them, but I still do up in the mountains. But so if a war were ever to break out, and the cops know that too. I'm friends with a lot of cops. They're not in my possession. Actually, a lot of the cops own my guns up in my hometown. So if I ever needed them and asked them and I explained what was going on, they'd probably be like, "Yeah, sure, here you go." But I sold them off when I went to the city. So technically, I don't own those, but I have others that the cops have. So, anyways, but the OnlyFans stuff, this was hilarious. So what she did, she first, let's see. Wait, you talking the OnlyFans or let's see. Oh yeah, no, you totally can. You can buy and raffle guns. It's like basically gun shows, and then oh, and win guns. That's awesome. It's very an American thing to do. But yeah, and I had a buddy that used to buy and sell garage storage units, and that's another way to get it. Like a lot of times there's a gun in those. And then it's supposed to be like on your honor to go turn it into the police or check to make sure that it wasn't used in a crime or anything. And like, yeah, yeah, and it's and even ghost guns too. Like, I mean, you can 3D print stuff now, but I mean, oh wow, that's a pretty good. Those are pretty good odds. So depending on how much it costs and everything, but the biggest thing is to do the security to where somebody doesn't feel the need to use a gun. It's good to have them though, but like, and that's the thing. Up in the mountains, everybody has the guns, and like, it's so cold and like so hard to move around up there. Like, if you tried to like commit a crime and then make a getaway, you're going through a mountain pass, and the cops will just meet you on the other side. They'll just radio ahead, be like, "Oh, he's going through the pass." Like, there's literally no way to get away with crime up in the mountains. So like, everybody has to be creative and all that. Oh, but for this though, sorry, the OnlyFans, I distracted with that. So like, I somehow I upset a whole group of people, like a bunch of prudes or anti-smut thing. Yeah, yeah. I don't think you need a concealed carry permit in Colorado. Or wait, no, you do need a concealed, but we're an open carry state, so you can open carry and not get supposedly not get harassed. But yeah, and then like this, the gal told me she was her. She sent me a picture with A-Rye, and I said, "Draw it on you," and then she just had a Photoshop thing on her. It was terrible. Yeah, and then I had a buddy go to prison for having a gun in the car, and he got pulled over, and he was on parole. And just because they found a gun in the car, he went back to prison. So yeah, because he couldn't prove it wasn't his. I mean, but yeah, and that's the whole starting to kind of do. Let's see, where would that be? It's kind of in communal, and then I started to do like cannabis. Let's see, so if I do that, so this is the actual like happy house specifically. Oh yeah, pretty. I mean, between that and Silk Road, like that is kind of like, yeah, this is the original thing for all of that. But yeah, like aquaponics, hydroponics, the crops. I had somewhere in here, I think, yeah, cannabosum, mushrooms, all this, mental health benefits. Let's see. Now I'm kind of curious. Zelensky. He is a Ukrainian-American businessman and the majority owner of OnlyFans parent company Phoenix International Limited. Oh, this, let's see. This is one of them, and actually, I should put this. So that's kind of the main thing. I'm trying to, like, build a main landing point. So this is kind of, if you go to my, oh wait, no, where is it? Well, we could just go this way. So Alex Ryan. So if you go in here, so I started putting this padding stuff up at the top because I still have a lot of family that they're not really keen on cannabis. So then there's communal, and then within communal, or let's see. So I guess you got to go to communal, and then within communal. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to do all of this. Actually, let's go back to one of these. Go into the website. Yeah, yeah, and that is, and like Colorado, like it's still kind of a shaky thing, but I will say, when I was getting out of the halfway house, I did 4 years in there, and like they were picking out what weed they were gonna buy from a catalog, and like it's like I was being patted down every day, like drug tested, breathalyzered, all that. Like, I had a bag of protein powder that I wrote "not heroin" on that I'd keep in my mailbox and everything. And then I see them looking at a catalog, and I'm like, well, "What you got going on there?" And they're like looking at weed, and they showed me. They're like, can you imagine once you get done with once you're off paper and everything, you could just go buy it, and like and it's true. I mean, I go to Starbucks here in Fort Collins. It's like around $100 an ounce. Ounce lasts a month, month and a half. Like, it's extremely cheap, and that's if you're getting fancy. They even have ounces for like 50 to 80 bucks. I want to say like manager special, and that's the type of stuff now that, whew, so yeah, I mean, it was about tree fitty in Buena Vista back in the day, and working at the ski resorts, you could slang them and like make that, but you could only sell them for 50 an eighth. Like that's like the most you could, and that's even extortion prices. Like, but that was actually pretty standard up in the mountains, and like, but it actually, if I do this, so put it in here, communal hippie farms, and right here hydroponics, temporary housing. Yeah, well, and that was the other thing. Like, once we were able to drive for long periods, because that was just in high school, and then once I graduated high school, and like you start finding out that you can get them for 300 in the city, so then you're like, okay, well, you calculate like you get like two or three of them, you bring them up to the mountains, sell them for 350, you're making 50 a pop, and instead of having to sell each individual eighth and eight of them to make that 50, you're just selling an ounce at a time. But then you move up to the level, and like it's crazy. And I did meet somebody that he ended up being an informant for a grow house, and so now he's all hunted and everything, and understandably so. And like they're trying to smooth that out. That's actually well, let's see, interest-free loans. This is kind of like some other stuff, but I'll go ahead and put some stuff in here. Oh, this is, yeah, and like, and but that's the thing is like if we're gonna move forward and be peaceful and like fix all the stuff, we have to kind of grant clemency or whatever it is, like um let them apologize, and that's actually why I have that make it right. But let's put this put it in here for now. So this would be happy house. um I have so many tabs open, jeez. let's get rid of all the Moodle stuff. I'm gonna just look at that again soon. I mean, that one I'm not as concerned about because, like, I mean, I would like to get it going, but it's really just more to just flex that I know what I'm doing, and I shouldn't have to prove that like I did. Yeah. So, but I will do it, and I'm gonna do it soon. So Moodle, this is actually the learning management system that I use at work. And basically, what happened is my coworker, my coworker and I were hired to replace a senior system admin, and that senior system admin handled everything, all the onboarding, hardware, telecommunications. And we're just a small nonprofit, about 50 to 100 people running a school. Oh yeah, semester at sea. I already said that. But anyways, and this guy got hired on at the same time as me, 2 weeks earlier because I had to put in my 2 weeks notice with my job that I was working at, which they were offering me a management position at a Noodles. It was an intermediary job, and I felt really bad because of my checkered background. I couldn't tell them that I was looking for another job and had gotten hired at another place, and then this place only does a 3 year background, which doesn't even matter now because even a 10-year background wouldn't do it. And most government places don't even check that far. And I've worked in IT for an aerospace company where I did have to explain all that stuff, and they still granted me okay to work with military and ITAR government data, and I never betrayed that trust. I was a gatekeeper for military secrets, basically, and I never saw any of the stuff. I couldn't actually access the files myself, otherwise I'd go to prison. But I was granting permission, so I would get the request order in. A new hire would be hired. They were going to the XYZ team, and they needed access to government military data. And so I would have to first verify that they were U.S. citizens. So I would go to their employee files and all that, and then, um, yeah, yeah, and the aliens. Whew, there's a lot of that, but I didn't hear a lot from that government job, and it wasn't a government job. It was a contractor, like for an aerospace company that was very deeply ingrained with like the government and all that. But I've seen some stuff for sure. And so, anyways, this is just our learning management system, and basically, oh, whoops. So what this guy does, or what our predecessor did, was he did Moodle, Nextcloud, and this is a file server. It's an open source file server, and then so basically, I need to do a Moodle install, a Nextcloud, and Nginx is actually tucked within that. So as we were seeing earlier, Nginx is like just one component that I would do, but that's like the web front end. So like these are the things that he manages. And we were trained by our predecessor, he literally said blip bloop. Like this is how he described how hard it is to set up a virtual machine with all of the student data, with all of the students. We have students, lifelong learners. So like these are people that go on the ship that are 30 years or older. And then you have faculty, you have staff, which we call like faculty crossing and everything. And so all this stuff. And so there was just one system admin. Yeah, I'm gonna use Moodle, and not for work. What I wanted to do is I wanted to build an environment at home so I can actually practice and learn and get better at my job, basically, on how to manage a Moodle server, a Nextcloud server, and then we use Google. We have a free education license for educators and nonprofits for Google, and like, so that's it. I need to know how to admin those things, and that's just to do what he does. And so, which I already do. I use GAM, I use Google Tools, I know how to do all that. I've done automation, I've done scripting in Bash, I've done scripting and even a little PowerShell, not a lot, but I know how to translate it over. And so that's all this guy does is he's a server admin, and he doesn't have a computer science degree. He has an IT degree, or not IT, he has a small screen production degree from the 80s, which that's great. Like, I mean, he can troubleshoot tech, but he's never studied algorithms, data structures, coding, computer logic, computer architecture, all of these things that I did, like classes for each of these things. And so my argument, and he just got promoted. That's the thing. And so I got passed up for a promotion, and I got a name change. So we were both junior system admins, and there was only one spot. And basically, this guy weaseled his way in my opinion. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but well, and that's the thing is because they consider the system administrator the one who manages the Moodle and the Nextcloud. Doesn't matter that I manage phones. I onboard everybody. I do the cybersecurity. I do the training. I do all the support, and that's exactly why, because I do the support. So in their mind, I am the lesser, the assistant. But if you actually like stack up all my duties side by side to what this guy does, and this guy's got him fooled because nobody else there has a computer science degree. My manager doesn't. Like, I mean, my head report, like we're a small company that when this guy left, the guy before us, he was the most qualified. So, and yeah, and even if you say like, so Google Gemini, and this is or wait, and I did this, and so actually I was in a little bit of hot water, but I did this with my IT team, which is just me, my manager, and this guy, and I said, you know, what are the typical tasks of a system administrator? And then Google came back saying all of the things. Oh, hey, Pepino, we don't need cheap viewers. Let's get you out of here. So, exactly, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to like explain is like, and you know, the guy that we replaced knows this, and like, and in for the first, so we've both been there 3 years now, so 6 semesters. His first 3 semesters, he just copied it over. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Um, but basically, yeah, and then so I pulled this up and I posted this in our group chat, and I said I just put him on blast. I was like, here's what a system admin does, and I do almost all of it except for yeah, patching and updating the systems, managing. I do this. I manage user accounts. I do the documentation. I monitor. I mean, system performance we don't really do a lot of because it's a small company, but like even just security. Like I noticed that there was a security risk over the weekend, and it's funny because I'm gonna go in tomorrow and just be like, so there was this that I stopped, and that's part of because I have a security certificate, and also because I'm nosy, and I realized like 19 hours later that I should probably do something about that because it's my company. But and I did. I notified everybody that got scammed by the impersonator, sent them all a direct message and all that. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And this guy's scamming. Well, and it's not even that he's like he could be unintentionally doing it because he thinks what he's doing is worthy of a system admin job. So I did this thing, and I said, you know, here's that, and then I said, you know, okay, so we'll go into AI mode. What are the typical tasks of a server administrator? And this is where it kind of got me because what I did was basically setting up new servers, configure the hardware and software, maintenance and monitoring, and then actually it says right here the server administrator plays a critical role in managing, maintaining, and securing an organization's server infrastructure. Oh, I guess maybe it already changed a little bit. Um, it said somewhere that, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and like that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this project is basically do a Moodle server, a Nextcloud server, use Samba because we use Windows server, we use Active Directory for all our like for that stuff. But Samba is a free open source Linux version that uses LDAP commands, so I would be able to do AD protocols and LDAP and basically make a directory domain controller. Hey, there you go. If there's an opening, for sure. Um, And yeah, and it's just, uh, see right there, you've already done more networking than me or this guy has, and like, or for a network, what is that now? It's network storage. Uh, yeah, and I don't know. And the thing is like I was okay with it. And like we actually had a big old meeting about it last week, and we all admitted that all three of us, including the manager, basically divvied up the system admin's team or duties evenly, pretty much. But then they were like, well, we've only got one spot, one, and he's getting it. So I was like, well, why don't we just split the promotion and make it even? So we'll see what happens. I might actually still, and I hate to be like putting this dirty laundry out there like that, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, he knows that I know that. Like, I put it on our chat, our team chat, just so they knew that I was upset about it and why. And it's funny because they're actually going to be talking to the guy that we replaced. We're all still friends, and so all it takes is any of them to just be like, "So hey, dude, uh, is this guy really saying the truth? Is it really only this much work? Is the fraction?" And of course, he's going to be like, "Yeah, I would make a VM because he did. He told us when he was training us. He's like, you know, literally blip bloop. That's how he is. Like you massage the data in a spreadsheet. Let's see. That's exactly what's going on though. Like that's all he does is he manages a Moodle server, a Nextcloud server, a web server, and then I think one other server, and that's only operational during the school year. During the summer, like he's packaging, he's building them and all that and getting them ready. But that's it. That's the whole thing. That's a system administrator, and yeah. So yeah. And I do. I've onboarded actually over half the company now because we're recovering from the mists of COVID and and yeah, it's just like so I gotta wait it out. I'm gonna bide my time. I'm gonna try not to get in trouble because I already spoke out and they're both kind of a little upset at me. And I think once I build and I really shouldn't even have to do this to prove that a computer science degree is going to be more beneficial to a computer science job than and I don't have a pure computer science degree. Mine's it's a bachelor's of science from in applied computing technology, which is actually IT focused. It's about three quarters of a CS degree, and like the last quarter, I did a business minor with business administration, with a focus on international business. So like I have all this extra other stuff on top of it, and it's just like so now I've been promoted from a junior system admin, not promoted, just laterally to IT systems analyst. And so, but I love my job. I love it. It's great. But it's like nobody understands what people do in tech at the company. So they're just like, hey, he must be doing a good job. Let's give him a raise or promotion. And like the only one that the IT team gets. So yeah, we'll see. But this is also why I want to teach computer science. I'd like eventually I'd like to teach on the ship if we start doing computer science classes. And so part of it I don't even really care. I'm going to go back for my master's. I was accepted into the computer science master's program pending a couple good grades. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. And so another server, this is another one I was going to do, Zulip. So this already happened. He wasn't able to do this. And so it's a chat server, which now we just use Discord. I mean, so it's okay. And like, but basically, if I could set up a chat server like this, so this is an open source chat server, and then so between Moodle, Nextcloud, and Zulip, and what I want to do is I want to make it into a Kubernetes cluster. Yeah, and I've already done some of this. Yeah, right. Uh, yeah, I wish. And actually, that's the funny thing is, they want me to pen test the servers that he's working on top of doing all these other things. I just did a complete computer deployment for the entire company. I'm doing a whole new phone deployment for like this fleet of phones that we have on the ship, and like, and all of this, and yeah. So my intention is the squeaky wheel gets the grease until it gets replaced. I'm gonna make a Kubernetes thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Nessus, he could just use that. But I'm going to make a Kubernetes cluster, and I've already made some containers through this on my work computer. I've got Minikube to work, and I've gotten a container to install. And it's as easy as, so Moodle has a container, pretty much, yeah. And he's mean about it too. Like he shows off and he brags, and it's like, dude, you're not doing anything all that special. Like he thinks it's special, but it's like when you're playing a game with someone, with your younger brother or something, and you give him the controller that's not plugged in. Like that's basically what it feels like, and I don't want to be mean and say that. And I've been very patient, and in fact, yeah, I got to talk to him tomorrow. And but anyways, if we get this, and I put it in a container, then yeah. If I make a Kubernetes cluster with Zulip, Nextcloud, Moodle, Samba, yeah, and just do all that and record it too. Because last night I got PHP 8.4 and I downloaded MariaDB. I have to fix MySQL database because something broke with it. And I was interviewing for a job, and that's the only reason I even downloaded it. Thankfully, I made a very complicated username and password because I was like, wait, did I even secure this? Because all I needed was a quick like prove that I could do a job, and they ended up doing an internal hire anyway. But yeah, that's Zulip. So the funny thing is, well, I mean, frustrating too. Zulip was one of the servers he was supposed to manage, and he didn't do it, so we just nixed it, like just done. And so I was like, okay. And he had the history file of the predecessor, every command that was given in Linux. And I even said that. I was like, here's your history file. Like, if you were literally just to run this as a script, it would install and configure your server for you. Like, yeah. And I'm going to do this. And that's like the cherry on top. So even if I could just make a Moodle and just make a Nextcloud server, and if I can configure it and then show how fast it updates, because updating a server is literally a matter of entering a couple of commands. Yeah, like you said, like it's a couple hours of work. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. I could have, but yeah, like I said, we actually ended up just switching to Discord, and we don't even use it. We use it like before the voyages and stuff. So yeah, and now they use or WhatsApp. Yeah, we just basically like use that now internationally, and like, and that's great and that's fine. But basically, yeah, I don't know. But if I were to make this and show that I'm capable of doing this and not in a matter of like yeah, Discord is not, and like, and the other thing is like so many people like, yeah, I built a Discord bot actually to monitor let's see. Yeah, and I would love to collab, but I got to do it solo and just to prove that I can. Or even not, maybe even collab, like cheat, use other people. I mean, that's not even really cheating. Like, I mean, just the idea that, oh, no, I'll still do it in by myself. But blip bloop, literally. Like, and actually, no, I might even still take you up on that because of Kubernetes and like that. Yeah, but like the way that the guy taught us, he said, blip bloop, as that's it's as easy as this, and then you get the spreadsheet, you put the data in, and then you populate the servers. You use LDAP to create the users. Oh, nice. And yeah, and I didn't take the one class, or what it was is there was a class that did a chat app too in my undergrad, and I ended up doing the other one which did the picture manipulation software. They like alternated what they would do. But no, that would be cool. And I'm down to collab with people. I like working with people on things. I'm actually working on some security projects with one of my buddies from the cybersecurity boot camp. Um, and yeah, and actually, I am going to switch to some COD though. It's great talking to you. I think I am going to end this stream. But did you Sorry, also just noticing what time it is. Did you message me on the Discord? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, all that stuff, and like, and yeah, definitely. All right, yeah, and then let's see. Ah, cool, gotcha. But yeah, cause definitely like that, I'll be doing a lot of this, and so that way, yeah, you can message me whenever, but I'll see you around on here for sure. Um, And yeah, like I said, I'm actually just going to go smoke and switch to Call of Duty and play Call of Duty for like an hour and a half because I'm trying to get the skins. It's actually my son, and I if somebody's gonna see this already, but like I let my son play Call of Duty and like and so he's on vacation and I'm grinding prestige right now, and so I'm gonna do that. But and yeah, my YouTube is all a bunch of like all I do is I smoke and I play games and I talk about computer science and gaming, and yeah, there's some political stuff, but for the most part, like still like 90% of it is like yeah. And like I said, even the political stuff, like I try to keep a grain of salt, like um actually take this down if you're writing down books and if you haven't read it already, Cosmic Perspective, or no, the Starry Messenger, there, from Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. And like I am slowly building back, and I can't advertise on my Facebook because my family's on there and they hate weed. And so like and my X app is like a gray area because thankfully my family, the ones that do care, don't know tech as well, but they're gonna catch up. And I've even had one of them be like, like, are you smoking and all this. It's like it's been legal for over 10 years and I gotta, yeah, exactly. And but as far as politics go, this is my opinion on that. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, this Thrifty Books, this is really nice. Like that's super cheap. But again, library. Like I just go get it this from the library. But it's a small book. It's a really complex read. Like, and I suck at reading anyway. But when I had nothing but time on my hands, I read a bunch of spy novels and Dan Brown, Dean Koontz, like a lot of different authors because you're in jail. Like, but this one is just profound, and he talks about politics in this, and basically his experience. I mean, not to do too much spoilers, but he was pretty neutral and like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, but yeah, and he's pretty neutral, and he actually said that uh actually then oh so that's the Thrifty Books. That's probably your best bet, but then like the search in general. There we go. So there's that. But basically, yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he also does this really good how our brains were designed, and let's see, Neil, yeah, pot video, and he has the pot doc, which another reason like I love that like women getting into this. So she's oh, I might be maxing out my oh I never closed. Oh, I did turn off my virtual machine. But this one, so there's the simulation. That's a really good one. Um, uh, Neil deGrasse Tyson simulation video. This is really worth watching because that's like paranoid if we're living in a simulation. But then the pot doc, where's the pot doc one? Oh, whoops. Neil pot doc. There we go. So I think I accidentally clicked the other one while I was being impatient. Here we go. Potluck. So this one. Ah. All right. Here we go. I'm moving too fast for my stuff. Pot doc video. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. He's got interesting. perspectives for sure. Yeah. Oh, I'm also gonna throw this in there and just so you have that. But so that one, he has like the Harvard pod doctor there. Futurama's legit. I used to watch that back in the day. Like, oh, so they're very smart. In fact, they're yes, yes, and they're. I always feel like I have to look this up. It's kind of like how Monty Python was the inspiration for the Python programming language. I have to look that up every time I see that because it's like, is that really real? But like the creators, or no, the writers of Futurama degrees, yeah. And so like their degrees. Oh wait, let's do that. Degrees, because together they hold like some of the most ridiculous like master's degrees, PhDs. The writing staff of Futurama was known for its high level of education, particularly in STEM fields. Yeah, many writers held advanced degrees, including 3 PhDs and 7 masters. Significant portion of their education at Harvard, and then yeah, it's ridiculous. And same with Wu Tang. Like I forget which one it is. It's either the Jizza or the RZA, and like they have like they do like astrophysics at Harvard. They like do guest lectures and stuff, and it's insane. And like yeah, all of these degrees we have mathematics, computer science, uh, inorganic chemistry, mathematics, and mathematics is ridiculous. I can never. I mean, I could, of course, with a lot of time and patience, but I mean, coding was like where I capped out. Yeah, and these are all like a lot of computer science and math and computer science are almost interchangeable to a point. Like, because once I knew some math majors in the computer science department that they didn't want to hack it with math, or they got bored, or they just are not necessarily bored, but they wanted to switch, and they found it really easy to move into computer science. So if you can understand a lot of the math stuff, CS stuff isn't as bad. Yeah, same. I mean, I just hate it. And then once calculus happened, I was just like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, I liked when I was good at it, but then like once it started getting into like all these letters more than numbers, and of course I guess it's algebra and geometry, but like with calculus doing the derivatives and the deltas and yeah. But I had to do calculus for college. I did. But yeah, so yeah, good to see you again, and we're on the Discord, and I'll be doing this every Sunday mostly. For probably not about this long. This is a 7 hour stream. This is awesome with the interruption. So I wonder if like Twitch is gonna put it together, like or piece it together. But anyways, I did get a lot done today, and we'll see how I do tomorrow. Because the other thing is like, uh, everybody there appreciates what I do, and they know that I work hard. So it's not like they think that I'm slacking off, but trying to prove to them that they're being played and like taken advantage of without being too evil about it. Because I don't want the guy to like quit or get fired, but at the same time, it's like he's being shielded for. Yeah, exactly. He's just. Yeah, so, yeah, 7 hour stream. I've never done one that long, but I will be doing this every Sunday. Um, Usually a lot of the coding game people like to clash. That's what I was kind of offering when you first joined in. There's a couple that I was clashing with a couple days ago, and they were doing like some like they had them preloaded and stuff. Yeah, well, and construction, there's a lot too. I used to build. I was a framer in high school, and yeah, I loved it. Loved building houses up in the mountains and like yeah, it's yeah, if you want me to, I can. I'll start hitting you up. And actually what I should do and what I'm trying to do is think about how to do the XApp notifications because there are ways, but yeah, I'll do that and I'll see if I can automate a thing because I also do like ODAT Nerd. Um, this guy is really fun to watch too. Let's see, Twitch. I think we gotta maximize for this, but you should check this guy out too because he is really smart with JavaScript. Oh, script. Oh, oh. Script. This guy. Oh, oh. Oh, did I just hijack? Okay, I'll go back here. Nope, still good. Oh, so you know about ODAT? Nice, nice. I know that. Yeah, he's really smart. Nice, yeah, because I'm constantly going in there. Well, not constantly. Like I've been slacking pretty bad. I'm trying to get into more like at least lurking with some of these people and stuff. But yeah, I'll hit you up. I just was thinking about ODAT because he has the Discord and I'm part of his Discord, and so like and I know he does the automatic notification, so I'm gonna try to get into that. But yeah, so but anyways, and yeah, I'm happy to teach what I can. I mean, and that's actually the point of a lot of this like coding game stuff is I do want to be an educator at some point. And really, yeah, anybody can do this stuff. Like it's just determination, being stubborn, and yeah, and just maintaining a couple of servers. Oh, it's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Like it's almost criminal, but like it's like that's it. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, and he like enjoys explaining stuff like that. Um, but yeah, but I'm gonna switch over to COD. But yeah, I'll definitely hit you up. Um, yeah, sorry, I keep doing that. But like, and I'm a spaz. I'll keep going, but and I'm gonna be just jumping right back on COD. But at least that one, so I'll give my son some stuff in Blaze. But that one's gonna be only for like an hour. But anyways, yeah, or actually I might not even stream. I've been streaming a lot today. Like, let it cool off with like the other people. Nah, I'll stream. Let's see. No, no. Wait, do you stream? Or you? Yeah, no, you're good, and I do it too. But like, cause I'll follow you. Oh wait. Oh, yeah. I'll follow you. Word. Oh wait. Did I do it though? Hold on. I think I did have it. There we go. Okay. And then I hate it when I accidentally click twice. So sorry if it like goes away. But yeah, I'll keep an eye out for you. But I am pretty bad at this. I am like just pretty bad about. Oh, I don't trust that. There we go. Okay, cool. Well, nice to meet you. And then, oh yeah, you're around me. So, oh, you're better than me. You got like the other thing. But yeah, kudos and stuff. But I'll keep an eye out for you. And then, not a surprise. I'm still at like 130, I think. But yeah. So, and then I shot up with affiliate pretty quickly, according to like what my friends that do gaming stuff do. And then, yeah, yeah, got the affiliate and all that. It happens a lot faster with coders than gaming, but yeah, if you get good at it. So, nice. And guitar. Nice, nice. So, but yeah, I'll keep an eye out for you. Thank you, thank you. Even though with the power outage and everything, but always fun to talk cannabis coding and hippies. So, that's and cybersecurity. We did some cybersecurity today, but yeah. So, all right, man. Well, have a good night. I'm going to do the outro, and I will see you. Well, yeah, I'm probably going to still switch over, but yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting and all that. And like, it's good to have like that. I do a lot of talking to myself, as you know, doing the whole grind. So, but I mean, the dude's a blue moon. Yeah, and construction, that's respectable too. That's
Is it just me, or is it?
we got an ad. But yeah, so we'll do an outro song of the Blue Moon. But funny you should say wheelhouse too. That's something that we've been talking about. Like it's just like a common thing I hear. It's not in his wheelhouse, and like, and I just keep wanting to bite my. I have to bite my tongue because I'm just like, if you had a computer science degree, that would be in your. But I mean, that's not. You shouldn't just have to have a CS degree. Like, and I'm glad that you're learning coding and stuff, even and doing construction, and like, and I hope you're able to get into a desk job and really, and that's like one of the things that I'm trying to do with this stuff is like help people get into the tech careers because it's not just the coding is part of it, knowing the stuff, but also like how to do the resume. I had a mentor that I mean he's passed away now, but like he like helped me with all of like the resume stuff, and then and he had like a bunch of like really good connections, and then but the criminal record that kind of like hindered a lot. That's kind of why I'm a little more timid with these people anyway. But yeah, so but I'm hoping you can get into it. Construction's really fun, but yeah, as you know, it's not a for everything. So yeah, well, that was the thing. Like he was already kind of solidified with already, and so he just got the like he got on the job because they needed two people, and they thought that this was like the majority of the lift and everything. And so yeah, so I'll have to figure it out. But basically, like I said, if I can get Moodle, Nextcloud, Zulip, Samba, and that's about it. And if I can prove that I can do all those things and tell them the time that it took me to do that, it would basically fix it. So, yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna go kill some things on CODs. Yeah. Thanks again for coming by. I'll hit you up when I'm going on. And feel free to do that for me too. I mean, I see the notifications on Twitch, but if you want to DM me on Discord, we'll do the mutual pact there too. I'll try to notify you. You can notify me, and I'll at least lurk. I mean, if I'm around, I'll turn it on to lurk. Because even when I have my kids here and we're all playing games, we can all run something at the same time. So happy to do that. Like, so, anyways, uh, great seeing you, and we'll see you next time. So, oh, let's see.
On number 99 of the defense,
yeah, man. We got to look out for each other.
He's giving them business down there at the 15-yard penalty.
All right. See you next time.
Now I'm back in the stew, is it too soon? You might wanna listen to the new tunes. I put the pen to the paper, middle finger to the haters. Hope you choking on the flavor, chuck look good. Welcome to the Blue Moon, you can check it out on YouTube. And who knew that even YouTube connected to your Bluetooth? Dude, I'm honestly the truth, and tell like what the news do. Let's take a booze cruise in the Pimper Road. Introduce me to the beach and the culture and the food. I wanna see the world, I'm a vulture for the views. They got nothing to do, and I got nothing to lose. Well, I got something to prove. You wanna drive me crazy, give me nothing to do. You wanna say I'm lazy, but it's far from the truth. Yeah, I've had to grind to get nowhere, and it's kinda like the world, man, it's no fair. I've been thinking about these kids with cancer and no hair. I've been thinking about these kids that murder and don't care. You can see them from a mile away, so don't stare. I'm trying to stay alive in this world that I'm living in. Now I'm getting by with my girl to the end of it. Money on my mind, still looking for a hint of it. I'll never know why everybody call me Eminem. I've been holding back for a minute, gotta let it go. Couple thousand plays to my name, now I'm credible. Stomach full of edibles on Colorado Medical. Put it in your lungs, haters hold it, okay, let it go.
Dude, like, where's the pizza, man? I'm not saying another damn word until you get some pizza over here. Y'all are slave driving me in this studio. I'm chilling till I get some pizza. Oh, you think it's funny? I am not playing.
Welcome to the Blue Moon. I've been grinding out in school, now my screw loose, who knew? I'll be the dude on the honor roll. All we really need is my degree and then we gotta go. You see the rat I chose, but I'm never cover audible. The southern boy from the woods seen a lot of bull. I hold it down in the sticks where I'm at, where these simple folk know all of my tracks. And I hold it down for the people of my past. When they hear this, they gon' run them all back. I preach like, fuck the mainstream and anything that ain't me. Boy, this is how I kick raps. I preach like, fuck the insight. All I do is binge right. I know some that can complete a task. Listen to the song. Why can't we all get along? While we all compete for the same cash. Am I living life wrong? Standing up for the cause. I'm trying to stay strong while living my life laid back. Don't tell me how to live my life. Man, I ain't listening. I used to be on stage at night, but I ain't listening. Back in the stew, is it too soon? You might wanna listen to the new tunes. I put the pen to the paper, middle finger to the haters. Hope you choking on the flavor, chug a look good. Welcome to the blue moon. Now you look into the sky a little more than you used to. What a cool thing. Funny how they used to call me stupid, now I make them think. Funny how they always feel like shit cause all they do is drink. Funny how I used to hit them up and now I do my thing. Crazy how my girl changed my world, so I bought a ring. It's crazy how life works, but lately I've been like muggers and night shirts.
No, yeah, man. Thanks for having me over. Like, just chill, dude. I mean, it's kind of cold in here though. Like, where do you keep your thermostat? 65, 66, 73. Wow. I'm a little cold. Can we like turn it up